All right, what's going on, everybody? Another week, another Ask Me Anything happy hour. So happy day after 4th of July. I think that's what you call it. Like lots of you are probably hungover, but we're still here to answer your questions. And the best cure for a hangover, I wouldn't know, I haven't had a hangover in a long time, is just have another beer. At least that's the useless knowledge that I've heard. But with that, I'll be right back. We'll be right back to answer your questions. And we're back for another Ask Me Anything happy hour. Now, I have the first question. Have any of you ever woken up with a hangover and actually cracked a beer or had another drink? Like, has anyone ever been strong enough to do that? Just ask them.
Yes, sir.
Or no. Does it work?
I made me feel worse. My friends say yes, but yeah.
It does work. I have never been able to do that. As much as you know it fixes the problem, at least temporarily. I just have never been able to like do that. So anyway,
Bloody Mary works miracles. Just remember that.
Hair of the dog. Hair of the dog. What an interesting saying, right?
I've never liked Bloody Marys. I've never wanted one of those things. But man, oh man, sometimes one of these years I'll wake up with a hangover and I'll have a Bloody Mary.
All right, deal. The next event we're at, it's happening.
Yeah, probably the next symposium. I would guess that's where that's going to happen.
Yep.
So it's like mine and my husband's. That's the only drink we drink all the time. I make them really good though, so maybe I'll make you one. And they're different than the ones. There's a lot of crappy ones at the bar.
Oh, look at Kareem's. Excuse me, not payments, deposits. I love that. All right. Anyway, let's roll.
Okay, let's see. I have one pre-submitted from Brian. Brian says, what interest rate range are insurance companies charging these days? We'll start there. He's got a couple parts to this question. We'll start with that one.
Yeah, so a few of us just got back from meetings with the insurance companies, and we got the firsthand look. One America's a little bit under 5%. Jason, do you remember exactly? Was it 4.79?
I think it went up to like just over 4.8.
4.8. We'll just call it 4.8. Stephen, you said Lafayette was just about 5, right?
Yes, correct.
So he's nodding his head. He had the hair of the dog today, so he's a little slow in his reaction.
No, nothing but water, dude. Nothing but water. I got the exam tomorrow, so I gotta water.
See, he's got his medical exam tomorrow for his next policy. He's got to be a good boy. Awesome. So yeah, that's where we're at with him. I can't speak to Guardian or a couple of the other carriers, but they're probably right around the same, hovering around 5 or under, a little bit under, unless you're talking Northwestern. From rumor has it that's like 8%, but I don't know. We're doing right with them.
I've heard that multiple times, not rumored. I've heard that multiple times from people wanting to take a policy. It's right around 8%.
Yeah. So might not be the right company to use for this. Just saying.
So I actually copied and pasted it in here so you could see it. He said, his next question was, what dividend range do they offer?
So when mutually owned insurance companies declare a dividend, they do it as a combination of the guaranteed interest rate plus the dividend. So the lowest one that we have right now is 5.2. And the highest one that I know of is 6%, but they don't like IBC anymore, so we don't use them. So I would say the range is 5.2 to 5.65, which would be Guardian. But I will tell you that there's two companies. I don't know, Stephen, if you think we should name them. Two companies that when they declare their dividend, that's actually what you get. Unlike some of the other culprits that declare big dividends, but that's not actually the dividend crediting rate. Tricky. So you sometimes got to look at what the dividend crediting rate is, not just the declared dividend that they post in the public. I'm not going to mention any names.
I love how life's happening for us, because I was just thinking about that today and thinking about what you say about the dividend crediting rates and not being what they are, and just didn't remember how you phrased it. And so now I got to capture it and write it down.
There it is.
And his last question of the 3 parts was, can he join PMC if his policies are not through us?
Of course. There's You could join PMC if you don't have a single policy period. You could join PMC if you're broke. You can join PMC if you're wealthy. You can join PMC if you're right in the middle. Isn't there a Dr. Seuss book that I don't need green eggs and ham, not whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
There we go. Of course,
your
Frank got it.
old cash in there if you
How about
want it.
this?
There it is.
Story
It's one of my
time.
favorite Dr. Seuss books, and it's all about mindset.
It is.
It's Oh, the Things You Can Think. Anyway, it's a good book. You should read it.
If you can get it, you should read it for sure.
Yeah.
Lots of Dr. Seuss books around the Sipples house. If it's not banned.
If it's banned, it's probably at the Sybil's house.
Okay, we got Kareem says, if I borrowed 5,000 from my policy and still have 10,000 in cash value, could I borrow additional funds from the 10,000 while making payments towards the 5,000 that was initially borrowed?
Yeah, as long as you have cash value, you certainly can borrow it. I mean, and why wouldn't you? Right? Why would you leave the money sitting? Not that it's earning interest, but if you got a place to move it, so if you had 10,000 in cash value and you borrowed 5,000, you're making, principal or premium deposit, or sorry, you're making loan repayments on the 5,000. Then sure, if you got a place for the other 5,000 to go, then giddy up and go.
Yeah, the other piece of that is every time you make a loan payment, the available cash value goes back up, which is more to take out and use again.
Hence, you have yourself another first world problem.
And your simple interest goes down. So then you're paying less on that and you have a bigger spread you're making.
That's it. One goes up and one goes down. And there's probably a Dr. Seuss book we could
You keep the money moving around and around. There you go. Sounds more like Dr. Seussian.
One goes down and everything
Here you
goes
go,
all around.
Joe. This one's really important. Here you go. How's it going?
Hey, what's going on?
Can you elaborate on that, Joe?
He's a truck driver in Texas. He's a truck driver, yeah.
No,
So
he was asking you about you.
Oh, yeah,
Like-
he's saying, how's your day?
Yeah.
it's going well. It's going well.
This is
Thank you.
funny. Okay, Justin says, how do they set those rates, and what would prevent those rates from going higher? We're talking about insurance company interest rates.
Oh, it's tied, I'm sure, in one way or the other to treasury bond yields and also to prime rates, but it's not going to float like a bank interest rate. I mean, otherwise it'd be up around 8% if it was floating like the banks do. So I don't really have a solid answer on how they do it. It's definitely not the same way banks do it. Stephen or anyone else? Stephen stepped away, but anyone else know how to do
No,
it?
he's invisible. He's there. See?
Like, how do they figure out the loan interest rate? I thought I knew this, but then all of a sudden they started dropping them when interest rates are going up. So then I'm like, all right, well, shit, maybe I don't know.
Who? The insurance company?
Yes, the insurance company.
I don't know how they set them. I don't know because, like you said, Lafayette raised theirs and then they lowered it shortly after. And so I don't know. I imagine it's just driven by the market demand.
Yeah, I think it has. I
I
have
don't
something
think it's
to do with
tied to
prime.
anything, though. I don't think it's tied to like the LIBOR.
No, it's definitely not directly tied like bank loans are.
Right.
But weren't they the same for like a long time and then just started changing?
That's what I mean. So it's tied to something different. If anyone wants to do a fact check and a Google search on that. Yeah, so loan interest rates forever were, what were they, 4% or 5%?
Yeah.
5%, let's just call it. Loan interest rates. So here's what I used to think and what I knew to be fact prior to recently is if the guaranteed interest rate on the contract is 3, then the loan interest rate was 4. So that used to be 1% over the guaranteed interest rate that you're earning in the policy. That's how it used to be. Ever since 7702, it's changed a little bit. So I don't know how they do it now. But that's what it used to be. It used to be 1% more than the guaranteed interest rate. I agree with Aaron. It has something to do with the flux capacitor. And yeah, that's the best answer yet.
Absolutely.
Okay. I did want to, while we're waiting for more questions to come in, I did want to bring up this one. What's going on in Raleigh next month? just to kind of give a summary, and I'll look up the link too.
What's going on in Raleigh, Shauna? What do you got going on there?
We got 2 days of awesome people, awesome speakers, and hopefully some air conditioning because it's going to be nice and hot those days.
Yeah, special appearance. Special appearance, baby.
Oh yeah, and then me and Steven are gonna buy a karaoke machine, maybe. And
the real Flint Shady is gonna be doing some DJing for y'all.
I'm gonna bartend. It's gonna be a great time. But no, really, you should come. I was just talking to some people even over the 4th of July weekend who are coming, and some people who were at the Utah event are going to make it out to this one too. So I don't really know how to explain it. So you learn about real estate, about using your policy money, your self-directed money, using it in real estate, and then you're also in the room with the people who would essentially be borrowing your money. So if Private Money Club just seems too out there of an idea to see somebody's name in a chat and or across the screen and then do business with them, like the Money Tank is where you can see and shake hands with somebody, including most of us here on the screen, and then feel more comfortable doing business with them moving forward. The virtual is also a great option, but it's just nice to meet people and know they're there.
Yeah, it's epic. I mean, the last one we did in Salt Lake was so much fun, and so much business got done, just while we're up there doing our thing. It was pretty amazing to see, and Raleigh's going to be way bigger and better than that. And
I'll just add too, even though it's about money and learning and kind of technical stuff, just on an energy level, it's just really, really good people in the room. So it's a really good time. It's it's very fulfilling.
Yeah, it's why we have so many repeats back to every single event we have. They keep coming back for a reason.
Who put that on? What?
I was laughing in my head, Snaggy. Come on, give us a little "Oh Sherry."
I'll start practicing.
Yeah. Love it.
All right. Can we go back to the how loan interest is calculated? Because I found it in the contract. So
was there a spreadsheet for that?
There's a long formula. So you take all these factors, multiply it by 0, and then add the Moody's corporate bond yield.
The Moody's, that's what it was. The Moody's bond yield, not the prime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have this is the One America contract, but it's in the loan section. It goes into detail about how the loans are. Loan interest rates are calculated.
So pretty much the flux capacitor is all we need.
It is flux capacitor, and then just remember the Moody's corporate yield bond, average yield. So,
and another thing too, a lot of times, it's important to know what the loan interest rate is. But if that's what someone's focused on, you're focused on the absolute wrong thing. Whether the interest rate on the loans was 6, 7. Doesn't matter, when your money's in motion and you got it moving out to today we had Chris Root on. He's got a new deal offering 12%. We got the Fullers 12 to 15%. I mean, you got tons of deals on Private Money Club in the 16% range. What is it to pay 4, 5, 6, 7%? I'm just making numbers up. If you're making 12, 13, 14, 15%, it's just, that's sometimes where I think some people, they get so focused on the numbers, like the dividend and the loan interest rate, that they forget about what the infinite banking concept is, because they're focused on a product, not on the process. And the process is how you make the money.
And that dollar is working in 2 places at once. It's magic.
Oh man, on Wealth Webinar today, I did, I brought out Craig's master design that he did. I mean, I don't think we've ever done a presentation it was for a client, but then we just made it generic. But I don't think I've ever done one that truly shows you the power over a 10-year span. Actually, we go longer than that, but the 10 years just is powerful of exactly what this does and how it does if you use it for private lending and private money club. Like it's insane. It's just insane. Like I looked at the numbers today and like they're net numbers. They're net of loan interest rate. They're net of everything, right, Craig?
Yeah.
I'm wrong. Like
the only thing we didn't calculate in there were taxes on the investment side.
Correct.
Other than that, it's all net.
I mean, it's stupid. And like, if anyone ever beats you guys up, or says, oh, that's stupid. Why would you ever do that? Why would you put your money in a whole life? That's the dumbest place you can put your money. I'm making more money in the S&P. That's a terrible, investment. You should always thank them. Be like, gosh, finally somebody that knew that this is not an investment because it's guaranteed. But those numbers still, even now, like after the training, I just think about them, just like, why in the world would someone not do this? Like, that's the part I have a hard time at. And hopefully that doesn't go to my head.
Well, and Chris, I think one of the powerful things you said on that wealth webinar was in that first year we were down 6% in that example. How many people have invested in the stock market and had 1 down year, 2 down years, 3 down years in a row, and they keep doing it? And so we're talking about 1 down year and the rest are all up years and just keeps getting better and better and better.
In today's training, I even called it 2 down years because the second year you only make like 1.87%, which I just call that as a throwaway year. But you're right. I mean, it's just like nobody ever stops putting money in their 401k or in their investment account when they have a down month, a down quarter, a down year. They just continue on. But yet with this, like the one thing people are always like being like, oh, I put money in the first year and I don't have access to use all of it. It's just like, I just did that in comparison with the stock market. It's just people, it's all mindset. I think we need to start doing more trainings about mindset. We haven't done those in a while. And I think that's the thing that holds people up is just their mind's broken. I don't know how else to put it. Like the way you think and the way you've been taught to think about money, broken.
Well, to that point, Chris, and that kind of everything you were just saying, and I didn't get a chance to watch today's webinar, but it kind of reminds me of what Money Tank is to a point, is like, if you are thinking about the numbers and all that stuff, you're not like putting a value on all the stuff that you're going to be doing. Like from getting a policy, congratulations, when you were younger, you like learned how to go get a job and then that paycheck goes in your bank account every Friday. Like we've been there, done that. We've learned that. Like you're going to learn something new. You're going to talk to people. If you do lending, like regardless of what the numbers are, yesterday you did not lend money. Today you lend money. Like you've changed. You've done something new. So that has to have a value. If you don't value yourself enough, like to do something new and try. I don't know. I don't know if that makes any sense, but there's so much value in the unseen stuff that's happening along with all of this. And sometimes I don't think you don't need to learn everything. Like even on the dividends, like I was in my Mass Mutual thing today, and like for some reason there's like a button you can click that's like request dividend withdrawal, and for whatever reason it almost did the gas pump thing where it's just like please see attendant, and then I was like, oh fuck that, I'm not doing that. But I was like the button didn't work, and I was like, who cares about the dividends, even though it says like $243 is there for me to click on or whatever. But the button didn't work. But like, what do I care? I have other stuff going on, like, and I'm happy to have that problem that the dividend button didn't work today.
And Shauna, that's brilliant insight to how our minds work, right? Because it's all about stepping through what's uncomfortable. Like I had a moment the other day on the mat when I was working with someone during my testing, and he was like, hey, you have to do this. And in my mind, I instantly went, like, I've heard it a million times. It's like, I know what he's telling me. But I said, okay, ego, if I can keep my ego quiet for a second, then I might learn something, right? Like if you can quiet your ego and step through and be uncomfortable and say, I don't know this yet.
I've heard this in maybe the last like month and a half, is like your ego wants you to be comfortable or whatever, but intuition makes you feel uncomfortable. So actually, if you do feel uncomfortable, it's pretty much like your intuition kind of pulling you to that next level. So follow the discomfort, I would say.
I think another thing that's important. And I'll speak to something that happened last week. People like with Money Tank, when we're doing it out in Raleigh, and a lot of people come up with an excuse or reasons to not go. Maybe it's money, maybe plane tickets are expensive. Maybe like, well, I don't know what I have going on that weekend. But I mean, let me remind you. So I mean, I've been around the block a few times, with events, but just last week I got a phone call and I got an opportunity to fly to San Diego. It was out of left field, like completely last minute, like less than a week out, to fly to San Diego to be on a radio show. Now, I don't know what the results of the radio show is going to be. I don't know if anything will materialize from the radio show, but I know it's a really big opportunity. Right there on the phone with the individual, I quickly glanced at my schedule. I said, I can move that. I can move that. I think Gabby can move that. Gabby's going to be pissed about moving that, but I'm pretty sure she can. And then I went online, to Delta, and I looked at flights, $1,400, $1,467 to be exact, to fly to San Diego. And I'm flying to San Diego Friday morning. I'm going to be on the show Friday early afternoon. Then Friday night, I'm doing a dinner. And then Saturday morning at 6 a.m., I'm back on a plane flying back to New York. So think about that. I'm going across the country Saturday. I'm flying back across the country Saturday, just for an opportunity that I don't know if it's ever going to yield me anything, but it's an opportunity. So then let me parallel that over to Money Tank. Like, you could buy a ticket to Money Tank for right around, about $300 for general admission, or about $1,000 for a VIP and spend an extra day. For a VIP, 3 days of opportunities with actual people that you can do business with, that will put dollars in your pocket, because there's opportunities everywhere, and people still question that. I don't know what's wrong with me, or maybe it's not anything wrong with me. I just understand how it works. But like, sometimes people just need to stop making excuses, stop making, reasons why they shouldn't go change their life. I mean, if I can fly to California from New York in one day for an opportunity that I don't even know what it's going to be, like, you can fly to Raleigh, North Carolina to come for 3 days, spend $1,000, which is a discounted ticket, and then have an amazing time and go home knowing that your life's about to change financially. I don't know.
It's almost more fun going and not knowing what the hell you're getting into, in my opinion. I always the best time when that happens. Sometimes
when people ask what Money Tank is, we should just say, I don't know, maybe you should show up and find out. Like Secret Knock, like when you ask, well, what is Secret Knock? Does anyone know what Secret Knock is? Nope. You just got to show up and experience it, right? And does anyone ever say, oh my God, that wasn't worth it? Nope. But like, nobody knows what Secret Knock is, but they still go. So I think we're just giving people too much information about Money Tank. Like, Money Tank, it's just a place you should go.
Well, it's also the people that go. Like, you want to have the right people that are willing to take those opportunities. I mean, the best way to predict the future is to create it. The only way to create it is to be around the right situations and opportunities. I mean, just last week I flew to Detroit with zero plan, because I thought that there's potential there to work with Rocket Mortgage, with Private Money Club. And I went in with zero agenda, zero ideas. And it was a great time, money, energy, well spent for what might not happen anything for a year from now, 2 years, maybe not, never, but you're never going to have those opportunities unless you put yourselves in those situations at the end of the day.
Yep. Carpe diem, baby. Carpe diem. Get your tickets. Maybe you should look up Carpe diem and see what that means.
I know y'all want to meet a real slim steak too, so let's go, baby.
All right, Gabby, let's move on. Now that we got questions that actually came in, we were killing time trying to get some questions.
Okay, Eric says, what's the best way to learn and start private lending when we have about 7,000 to start?
Oh, that's easy. I would say
Money Tank. Just kidding.
Money Tank. Money Tank. Can't tell you what it's about, but that's what you do. And while you're waiting to go to Money Tank, counting the days down, like Xing off the calendar every day closer to Money Tank, then what you do is you start joining Steven every Monday for Money Club Monday to learn all about how to lend that money in $7,000. Like, hey, get that money to work.
Well, here's what I would do. I would give it a little bit different answer. So $7,000, if that's what you're looking to invest and lend, you're looking at this the wrong way. You're in a position, again, I don't know who this is, Eric, but generally speaking, where you you're going to need more money than that. $7,000 is not going to produce a lot, especially in private lending. So you're going to want to try and increase the amount available that you have. So if I had $7K to start right now, I would 100% put that $7K in education, coaching, and a mentor. And I would learn the active side of the business so I can go out there and do something like wholesaling where I can start generating $5,000 to $10,000 a pop, build up that 7,000 nest egg to, let's say, 50,000. And then I would hop in to start private money lending, because the other important part of that is you're going to learn the other side of the fence by getting on the active side first. So then when you do start lending, you'll know, would I lend to myself? Is this a good deal? So you're not just blindly investing, lending somewhere where you don't really completely understand it. So I would take that and I would put into coaching, mentoring, and training personally.
I agree with that.
But schedule a call with Private Money Club and let the team explain that to you further. I'll put the link in there. But you can go to privatemoneyclub.com and just click on learn more, and you can schedule a call with our demo team. Sorry,
okay. Brian is saying, is there a bank that would be better suited for the segregated account than some others? I'm not happy with my current bank, and so I'm looking for something new. Any recommendations?
Oh, I hate to even use this word, but didn't somebody say that Bank of America was super good from an online platform? I hate Bank of America, but somebody was saying that they worked really well. And then, I don't know how that Apple account works, but if that's pretty nimble and you can put money in, put money out, that wouldn't be bad because the interest they pay. Anyone else have any suggestions on banks? I mean, we hate them all, but we got to at least play nice with them.
I do community banks.
Yeah.
They know me when I walk in.
Yeah, I mean,
to me, it should boil down to, is it free and is the technology good? So can I, are they not charging me for it? And can I log in? Can I do things from my phone? Can I see it real quickly? That kind of thing. That's what I would look for. But otherwise, I don't think it really matters.
It could be a convenience thing as well. So, Brian, if you go to a different bank and you have that bank attached to your life insurance where the loans drop into, if you have another account with that particular bank, it's just easy to transfer between those two. So I don't know about you, but when I transfer from one bank to the next, it seems like I'm, going through heart surgery. It's like, why is it so hard to get money from this bank to this bank?
Yes. So maybe, Brian, if you are getting another bank, I would just move everything rather than just getting that segregated account, because it is so much easier to drop down, transfer this money into this account.
Yeah, I agree.
It's but yeah, I just use KeyBank. I don't know, that's somewhere. I know. I feel bad.
I use them too, but they do have a good online platform. Transferring money is
it's like a snap. So yeah,
easy. But they suck. But they're bad. So by default, they're just supposed to suck.
Yeah.
Okay. David says he's working with Jason on getting started.
I've got him. I'm messaging him right now.
Okay, but other people might want to know. The medical has been a couple months, hasn't heard anything. Is that normal?
There's been replies back to him, and so there's been other conversations as well. So, David, I'll reach out. We'll connect, and it shouldn't take that long. The longest it should take per HIPAA is about 30 days, where if they request something from your doctor, the doctor has 30 days to get it over to underwriting, and then maybe a little bit longer to give you a little bit more context around hiccups that we can't control. But with this particular for David, I appreciate you asking the question, David. I'm reaching out, and then we will help you get on track, because I know there was results sent over to you, and then you and I connected, and we'll just follow up to see where things were with that. So.
Cool.
Yeah, it can be frustrating on how long it takes, but boy, oh boy, when it happens,
Well, that's just the medical, when I have my annual checkup outside of insurance, just my annual thing, I get blood work taken and I never hear anything about it. I don't even know where to find it. And that's just with my health life. So that's not my insurance or anything like that. So I don't know. I don't know how the medical industry works.
That's broken.
No news is good news, is what I hope.
It's like everything else out there. It's made to be as confusing as possible, so you don't want to follow up to try to figure it out, and you just, It's very complicated.
Probably some truth to that.
Okay, Sarah is currently in underwriting with their first policy and is wondering if they can open multiple policies concurrently to avoid high term and allow for more deposits to dump in across the policies in the first year.
Sure can. I've had a couple families, and I know, Joe, I know you've done this too, a couple families that have literally done all the policies for the whole family at the same time, just, for exactly that reason, to get multiple policies going on different family members. Like I had one guy do one on him, one on his wife, and one on all of his children at the exact same time. Number one, because it was easier. Number two, it allowed him to put more money through their policy. And number three, exactly what you said, by spreading it out, we were able to put a larger dollar amount through without term insurance, and we had no drag on it. That was a really, really cool case design. It took some time to design everything because it was so many. I think he had like 3 kids, but it was super effective. How about you, Joe?
Yep. But
I should have said back to you, Joe.
Well, the amount of money that you're going to put in for the dump, if you just put it into one person, obviously you get more term. If you spread it out between the 4 people and change the ratio, then obviously the term goes away and the drag is none, as Chris just said.
My question on that is, so I don't want, is term that big of a deal to some people? Like for me, it's only $10.88 a month. Like I had to have term as well so that Harper could have the amount that I wanted her to have. You know what I mean? But it's $10.88 a month. So
it's not.
Again, sometimes I don't care.
It's literally splitting hairs. It truly is just splitting hairs. But I mean,
maybe it's a lot for other people. That's why I asked. Like I didn't know.
Somebody's like in their 60s.
That's what I was going. I mean, I've had policies between $4,000 to $7,000 a year.
Damn. That's what I was wondering, because like mine's $10.88 a month.
Yeah, 10, 20, no big deal. No, but when the spread, when you're doing a spread and you're getting to 8, 10, it depends on the amount. So that's when you have to drop the term, lift up the annual, or drop down the dump, lift up the annual, and then get a nice number. Got to play a little bit.
I love it.
Squishing here, pushing there.
There you
it
go.
Really sounds like a machine. You guys sounded like mechanics, like getting the engine just
very
right.
Dr. Seussian
Turns over.
It is. There's nothing easy about designing these.
Yeah.
Policies. I mean, a lot of people are like, "Oh, is it just the whole life?" Oh, you only wish. It's easy for us because we've done so many. But like, if you just took an agent off the street and you said, "Hey, build an IBC policy, do it this way," they would freak out. And I've had this happen. I've had mass agents like come in and ask me, "How do I do this?" I went to my whatever the person is in mass that helps them design their cases, and he said it'll mech every time. There's no way to do it. I'm like, you just don't know how to do it, so why don't we do your policy? I literally said that to him, and he started the process of doing a policy on himself. And can anyone guess what happened?
He didn't move forward.
Yes. He was an agent and he didn't move forward. He probably did move forward, but he probably canceled with us and then just did it himself because he's he's got that scarcity mindset. And God forbid, you got to get your commission, your $150 commission on your own policy. Because I think that's about what it worked out to be. It was small.
No, that was predictable. I learned that. I've had several of those, and eventually it's like, listen, is this a real partnership when everyone thrives, or are you just here to see how much I can give you so you can go do it on your own, right? So,
but that's okay. I still talk to people or agents like that, and I says, you know what? I'd love to see what you come up with. So why don't you send me the illustration after you're done building it?
Yeah, I say that all the time.
Okay, Dustin's asking where to find Steven's Monday sessions. I think Shauna put up the link to register for them. But in case you're asking like where to find the replay, it should be on the YouTube, correct, Shauna? Is there like a playlist that's there?
Yeah, for Steven's specifically, it's not on the Chris Noggle YouTube channel. It's on the Private Money Club YouTube channel, which I think has about like 700 subscribers or something like that. So you can subscribe to it. Let me try to find it and put it in chat.
Okay, and while she's doing that, we'll go to Roberts. He says, what kind of return do you see when you lend money privately, and how long are the loans usually? Wait, okay, we'll take that one by one. What kind of return do you see when you lend money privately?
They're all over the board. I mean, I've got money out. The lowest, I think that one paid off. I had one that was 10% would have been the lowest. My highest is 18. Joe, what's your highest? I mean, is it infinite? I'm just kidding.
Close. Well, no, talk about you. What was your return on your forklift?
What did that work out? I mean,
It was like
96.
You guys probably know. You guys have watched the video more than I've actually.
It was 96%.
Well, it's 14% on the first deal, right?
Yeah. But that was just for the time frame that I had it. And I had it, I don't know.
But if you were to do it annually, it would have worked out 96%.
Okay. Who's keeping track?
I am, and I want my forklift to sell.
I received a wire today
You did get that wire.
for the semis.
Yeah,
I know. Wow. Time for me to get my first.
Okay, this is going back to my original point though, is this one time Joe, who's on the bottom of the screen, was just a guy who walked into a room, and then he met Chris, and then he did a policy. Now he's buying forklifts and semi trailers and all these other shit. Swear jar
again.
and like that's the price. You know what I mean? Like that's what you get for walking into a room. Like you can change so much.
Well
Just
said.
the numbers.
Well said.
I stood against that pole for many times, though.
You did. And Robert, how long are the loans usually? So I've had loans pay off as fast as literally a couple weeks. We talked about it on Wealth Webinar with a Chris Rude deal. I lend him money, and like before the check, I mean, literally the check got to him, the deal was already sold, and the check came back to me with interest. Because I in my notes, I always put in there, if they prepay the loan, they owe me a flat dollar amount. And I think it was $2,000. It wasn't even a big loan. It was like an $18,000 loan. And I made $2,000 in literally weeks. That was my best deal ever. I mean, that one probably won't be duplicated, but most of the deals that I lend on usually are for 12 months. The fuller deals I put out for, I put the money out for 18 months, but they almost always pay off early. I've had fullers pay me off early almost on every one. What is the rate of default? I had one guy that I lent to, this little bastard. I gave him a shot, and he was late on all of his payments. Then he didn't pay for a couple months, and I would threaten with my attorney, and then he would pay up. But he ended up selling the deal, and we got all of our money. So I've never, ever, ever had a default. That one with this guy, Connor, was the only one that I've ever even thought I was going to have an issue with. But again, at the end of the day, there was no issue because no matter what, someday that property was going to be sold, refinanced, or something, and I was in first lien position, so I got my money no matter what. But that was the only one that I even ever had to ask for a check. All the other ones have been really good, but on Private Money Club, I mean, we have good people to lend to. Not all, but I mean, the ones I'm lending to, like the Fullers and Chris Rude, like they're just A+ players.
Can I say one word?
Yeah.
Collateral.
That's it. That's all of it is. The best thing in some of the deals we lend on is that the person does default and not pay us. I mean, sure, it would take some time, but the return would be well worth it.
Collateral. That's all.
Yep.
Okay, and Dustin, Shauna did put up the link you can go to find those replays. Steven's Money Club Mondays. I know we have like 4 minutes left. We're wrapping up a little bit early today, but I don't see any more questions. If anybody has any final thoughts, or we'll let a few more questions roll in while we're talking.
I do.
Well, hold on. Val had something. She said, Val said, I Googled Money Tank events and got a bunch of R&B videos on YouTube. Steven, have you been already getting started before the event? You putting up R&B videos? Oh my goodness.
Here we
Do a
go.
little promotion, baby. Let's go. See you at the Money Tank. We're making money, lending, borrowing. Let's go.
I hope you're going to bring that.
Is that the stuff that pulled up on there? We told
For the
them not
record,
to
this
do
is
that.
from Mr. Dexter, too, one of our
Premature.
clients. So, it's...
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
That's
it, love
supposed to be saved for the VIP people. You're not supposed to be putting that out on. So anyway, just Val, we'll put up the link again. If you Google Money Tank, we don't have like a trademark on Money Tank or a website on Money Tank. It's just an internal name. It's Private Money Club /Money Tank. And then you'll find everything you need. But I'm glad you found Steven's videos. We didn't know he put those up there already.
And then not to take away from Money Tank, definitely focus on Money Tank if you're going to come there. But I did also just realize, and I put in one of our Facebook groups too, is for the Vegas experience, there's like a few, like maybe like 2 more weeks left for the 4 payment pay option. So anybody who wants to come to Vegas in October, there's still the 4 pay option to buy just for like another like couple of weeks, but that's rounding down.
Awesome.
But Money Tank is where to be.
It's gonna be awesome. It really is. I wasn't excited about it, then I was excited about it, then I wasn't excited about it. Now I'm really excited about it.
Well, it's the room. So I guess anybody who maybe is hesitant, it depends on, like, you never know if they've gone to other events and it's been a bad time. Like, I don't know. You never know what people have experienced or what crowds they've been in. But so I can only speak to the Money Tank or like Money School events. But, you know, I am from the very first in-person event we've done till the very last, like most recent one, I am always just so amazed at the people who come to those events. Like, they're just really, really good people, every single person in the room.
Yeah, a lot of them are here right now.
Yeah.
Tess, Aaron, I saw Eve. Who else was on here?
Dorothy will be there. I believe, Derek, you're coming. Thank.
Well, you better be now.
As I say to everybody when they get a policy, welcome to the family.
Well said. Cool. Wow, we got through all questions. I think, day after the 4th, some people are hungover, so they just a little brain fog. Not Steven, though, because he's straight up on the water. He's got his medical tomorrow. Wish him good luck. Just pee in a cup, that little needle in the arm for the blood draw, and you're going to be good to go. With that being said, folks, we will see you when? Tomorrow? Yes, we will see you tomorrow sometime, I'm sure. But outside of that, thanks for joining us. Until then.